Well, since we're all useless, non-essential potatoes in quarantine due to
my corona,
we've latched onto a tiger-owning, methed-out, inbred cousin of Joe Dirt who likes to see homos naked while his eyebrow ring defies the laws of physics, and he repeatedly tells us how much he hates that bitch Carol Baskin. Meanwhile, Madonna shared with us how equal we all are now because of
my corona.
while she takes a milk bath with rose petals. Or maybe it was Ensure, I don't know. Yeah, Madonna, we're all the same. We can all afford to live at home for the rest of our lives just like you. None of us are worried about affording our next meal while you sing a song about fried fish.
Fried fish, fried fish.
You know, I need to apologize to my grandparents and parents. I used to be so embarrassed by them, but I'm pretty sure not even they were as cringy as celebrities unironically singing Imagine No Possession from their mansions. Consider this a formal apology to all the adults I mocked as a teenager. You are officially cooler than Madonna and 99% of the celebrities, except Paul Rudd. He's a gift from the gods. Rudd be with you, and also with you. I digress. So I've taken it upon myself to watch teen movies in a new series I'm calling QuaranTEEN Movie Review. Not to be confused with the modern Muslim QuaranTEEN reviews, where Islamic teens critique Islam and are later exiled from their communities. God, that was a dumb joke. Anyways, I'm doing a play on words, quarantine, quarantine. It's a funny joke when you have to explain it, right? Oh, God. Kill me. Anyways, for this QuaranTEEN movie review, I'm going to be talking about one of the ultimate classics, a movie so deep and meaningful, it'll make you stare out the lake and wonder, whatever happened to Thomas Ian Nicholas? Kidding, man. You know I love you. He actually makes pretty good music and fairly recently played Walt Disney. He makes awful dad jokes, so, he's a lot like me, except he probably has more money. So there's that. I'm talking about a movie that gave us acronyms like MILF. Yes, friends, I'm going to be giving a review of American Pie. 21 years later. Keeping it fresh. Side note, if every film was named after something a guy attempted to have sex with, all would be named Folded Pillow. Don't at me. Anywho. Oh, God. We start our movie with the titular Jim masturbating into a sock while watching scrambled porn, because Pornhub wasn't a thing yet. I mean, sure, the internet existed, but porn would either load your computer with cyber herpes, or you'd have to wait 10 minutes for a picture to load. And forget about videos. You think buffering is bad? If you wanted to actually watch porn, you had to download it and throw away your computer afterwards.
Well, that computer's really...
So the seemingly better option was watching scrambled porn. And no, that doesn't mean porn with eggs. I don't think it does. It might now. I don't know. This is back in the day when people used to pay for porn. I can't wait to tell my grandkids about it.
We had video rental stores with hidden sections behind a curtain where you could get that dirty flick fix. Men would sneak in there and pretend they thought it was a bathroom when their wives caught them. I know I did a number of times. And if you forgot to return the porn you rented in secret, they'd call your house and rat you out. The Blockbuster Mafia was not to be messed with. We didn't have fancy things like Pornhub or pull-out methods.
It's actually pretty funny. If you go further back in history, there were movie theaters that showed porn.
Popcorn and a wank, anyone? Enjoy your smut, sir.
I'm getting way off topic. Back to the scrambled porn. Remember Jim? Well, his attempt to impregnate a sock is interrupted by his mom, so he stealthily uses a pillow to cover his stiff sock, if you will? Where's the Me Too movement for this sock? I don't think it consented. The scrambled porn channel, our befuddled protagonist, is unsuccessfully and vigorously attempting to change, for mom's sake and, to have a little bit of dignity, has blips of clear audio where we get the pleasure of fake orgasmic boobied acting. His dad, played by Eugene Levy, strolls in trying to defend his son from mom's accusations of
viewing illegal channels.
And that's around the time we hear,
"Spank my hairy ass,"
or something like that. His dad grabs the remote control and the pillow for some reason, revealing the striped sock stiffy, and there you have it. A classic intro to a classic film. Parents seeing your junk inside of a sock. Since YouTube's all copyright crazy, I have to be very careful what I show from the movie, because they're douchebags, but I'm gonna do what I can and mostly just talk about the film and be as entertaining as possible. Anyways, we are introduced to all the characters and their cliques, like any good movie would do in the beginning. Band geeks, jocks, and so on. Jim is hopelessly nerdy and has the hots for Nadia, the way out of his league exchange student. Oz is trying to get with a college chick using classic lines like, "Suck me, beautiful," and "My friends call me Nova," as in Casanova. Yeah, good try, buddy. Good try. It's not happening. Kevin is trying to finally score with his cutie patootie girlfriend, but it's not happening. He's tired of BJs, apparently. I know this because he gets caught by his girlfriend saying he's sick of this blowjob BS, followed by, "I need to get laid." Oh, swing and a miss, Kev. Finch is simply the eccentric aristocrat of the bunch, except he's not rich. Anyways, the premise is a bit crude. Basically, our favorite 4 incels make a pact to get laid before they graduate. Don't get me wrong, they're not alt-right, trolly, but I'm the goodest of guys incels. They're not chads, they're just actually good dudes raging with hormones who happen to be involuntarily celibate in 1999. Also, Eugene Levy steals the show with lines like this.
Jim, I want to talk about masturbation.
I digress. These teenage gentlemen proceed on their separate but united paths to discover how to bed the fairer sex and become men. Oz joins choir with the intent of using his handsome status and his newfound knowledge that showing interest in a woman's interest could get him in bed with one of the goody-goody prissy chorus girls. Ooh, that's fun to say. Goody-goody prissy chorus girls. Goody-goody prissy chorus girls. Goody-goody prissy chorus girls. I'm sorry. Kev calls his brother after receiving embarrassing news that he hadn't given his girlfriend an orgasm. He calls his brother to learn the mystery of the hooded bandit. Noble cause. Brother directs him to an ancient text made by previous high school boys on pleasing the ladies. Basically, it's a scrapbook of drawings, a high school Kama Sutra, if you will, passed from generation to generation. A user's manual for giving your lady that O face. Jim, well, he humps a pie. Finch spreads rumors that he has a huge, eggplant, amongst other things. Building a reputation which could never backfire. And then we have Stifler. Stifler is basically the devil on all their shoulders. He somehow convinces Jim to broadcast Nadia over the internet to his friends while she was changing clothes in Jim's room. My dog just growled. It's basically the first ever live stream. Low-resolution boobies are still boobies. Must have been like 4 pixels. Let's set aside the creepy factor for a moment because filming someone without their consent is kind of creepy. We can forgive this because they're young, dumb, and full of, the internet was new. Plus, it was Stifler's idea. Anyways, Nadia gets naked to change clothes as Jim rushes over to his friend's house a block down to watch the show. She rifles through Jim's drawers, finding his porno magazines. Oh yeah, we also used to have to buy magazines with naked women in them back in those days. It was like Pornhub, but only pictures and made from a tree. And you had to buy them at gas stations by asking a clerk for the Jugs magazine. I'm off subject again. Nadia finds his magazines and it arouses her, so she, arouses herself. Jim is convinced by Kevin, against his better judgment, to run back to his room and seduce the exchange student currently double-clicking her mouse. Also, this is where you find out Jim accidentally broadcast the video to the entire town, including Blink-182 and a monkey. Not even lying, Blink-182 makes a cameo, as does a monkey. Jim walks into his room and says, "Looks like you need an extra hand." She's embarrassed and decides to make him strip for her, since he saw her naked, of course. Jim proceeds to dance to some EDM and Nadia likes it. Keep in mind, everyone in his school is watching. She asks him to sit next to her. She slowly pushes his hand towards her nether regions and Jim spontaneously combusts in his pants. Nadia starts to leave, but Jim somehow convinces her to stay with his porno magazines. And it's time for round 2. Until he prematurely, his head explodes again. So let's just say he's definitely not helped his reputation. Between this, Stifler accidentally drinking Kev's sperm, a mass amount of crude content, it'd be easy for some overly offended moron to write this off as some lowbrow teen movie. And I know, I've not made the case for this being an amazing film, yet. But it is. Through their journey Antics aside, these 4 high school students grow as people. There's more character growth in American Pie than most movies. Take Captain Marvel, for instance. The plot is bland and there's absolutely zero internal conflict. Captain Marvel is a badass who becomes more badass. I really hated how corporate pandering for the sake of inclusion ruined what could have been a marvelous movie. Get it? Marvelous, Captain Marvel. I'll see myself out. Don't get me wrong, inclusion is good when it's done well. Inclusion from rich boomers who pander to make money is Elizabeth Warren levels of cringe. American Pie has a better plot, better premise, better conflict, and more importantly, better character development in the first half hour than Captain Marvel has in its entirety. I digress again. Oz has a conflict when 2 events he now holds dear clash. He plays lacrosse and he's in choir, something he's grown to love, along with intense feelings for the goody-goody prissy choir girl he did not expect. He is at odds because his lacrosse game is on the same day as the big choir event. He chooses lacrosse, and during an apropos speech by his coach, Oz decides to leave the game at the bewilderment of his teammates. He chose love over his game. Even the dialogue rings true when he is asked, "What about the game?" and says, "I'm not playing," representing his newfound respect for women, courtship, and his evolution from making a sex pact to just caring about someone other than himself. Kevin, through giving his girlfriend an orgasm and learning how to please a woman, finds himself at a crossroads where he realizes he does love his girlfriend, but knows they'll be finished at the end of graduation because she's going to college, as is he. And in a bigger dilemma, he doesn't want to grow up. You can see it in his face, hear it in his voice, and it's a masterful yet simple performance by Thomas Ian Nicholas. He tries to keep the pact intact, but the others have accepted their growth as people, where Kevin wasn't really prepared for them to do that. He's on the brink of having the elusive sex, but he isn't sure how he'd feel about telling his girlfriend he loves her just to bang, which actually shows that he does love her, and he is growing up. Finch is already mature for his age, going stag at the prom, but his reputation was ruined by a diarrhea incident. Let's just say Stifler dosed him with some X-Lax and the women's restroom was never the same again. However, while wallowing in despair, he ends up finding Stifler's mom, and, well, I guess that's personal growth. It's also much needed comedy, you know, it's a good element to the movie. Banging the MILF. Jim, unbeknownst to him, takes his future wife to prom. The
One time at band camp,
flute-toting band geek who is a maniac in bed. Jim's growth is realizing all his preconceived notions of sex making you a man is ridiculous. He ends up being used, forced to
say my name, bitch!
He gains a confidence in the knowledge that he doesn't need to have sex to prove he's a man. Quite the opposite, actually. He needed confidence to move forward in life, and sex isn't what gave him his confidence. He's already a well-rounded individual who's blinded by hormones. And afterwards, he doesn't change due to sex. He changes because he's realized the knowledge gained from the experience pushes him forward to the next phase. All 4 men realize that friendship is more important than getting it wet. Here's to the next step, as they say. Through all the 90s music, the comedy, the conflict, and downright raunchy events, this movie pulls together and leaves you with some self-introspection, which I feel is important in any film. I mean, sure, there's cheesy moments, and maybe I'm being nostalgic, but nostalgia is a powerful reminder of where we were then and where we are now. American Pie is one of the most important movies of the late 90s, from teaching us what a MILF is, to making us laugh, cry, gag, dry heave. It covers the human condition quite well, and it's really hard to find movies that do that these days. Anyways, guys, be safe and respectful. Hope you enjoy my QuaranTEEN movie review. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, click that bell, and sanitize yourself, fools. Wear a mask and say you're a ninja. Whatever you gotta do to get through this quarantine stuff. All my social media links are down below, and I can't talk. Much love, guys. Mwah.
The top 1% of my favorite film is American Pie. I'm also dropping out of the race. It was a very painful decision. Thank you.